Welcome to another sermon from the Lewes Church of Christ.
I want to introduce you to someone really special, and I think that some of you may not know her, and I hope after today you feel like you know her, and I'm pretty sure she's going to make you smile. Terese Kane is a longtime member of our church. She is a mom. She has had a mom. Would you give a warm LCC welcome to Terese Kane? Go get him.
Hit the ball, right?
Hit the ball.
Yeah, well, first of all, Mark assured me nobody comes to church on Mother's Day. Wow, apparently nobody's ever awake for a service either. That was a joke. Good morning. I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know who's more nervous than me right now, me or Mark.
Yeah,
I'm sweating a lot, though. Y'all are making me nervous. If y'all can all just look a different direction right now. Just look over there. And poor Chip and Adam, they're like, I missed one meeting at Moe's. This is what happens. Adam's like, I don't know what happened. I just went to get salsa. Next thing I knew, she's talking. This Dawn Bell, this is all her fault. I just have one thing for the ladies who are at the retreat this year. You know who you are. Fear the turtle. Angel's like, I can't believe she did that. That's why my husband couldn't come today. He was like, I can't watch you do that. Mother's Day makes me think of hearts and flowers, because mothers are so awesome, aren't they? Aren't we? Our mothers start teaching us things from the moment we first can comprehend. They're like the first love of our lives, because we're always looking up to them like, teach me. I have great teachers in my life. My mom and my grandma are both great teachers. Both my grandmas were great teachers, good Christian women. I can tell you I grew up in a small southern town in New Mexico in the Bible Belt, and two things were for sure. There was a Church of Christ on every corner. I was a 16th and Pyle Church of Christ and also a 21st Street Church of Christ gal. My grandma was Southern Baptist. There was Midland Baptist, First Baptist, Central Baptist. There was L Baptist, which is okay. We were both great families. But my grandma, wow, how much is this?
Yeah.
Is it $8,000? Mark said this was a trap door, so not to stand on it. So anyway, I can remember spending the night. My grandma grew up. My grandma grew up from me. I grew up from my grandma, about a block away. So on Sunday mornings, we'd get up and go to church sometimes after I'd spend the night. And this was back in the day when you got dressed up for church, and you had to come home from church and put on your grubby clothes. So that's kind of funny because now sometimes we come to church in our grubby clothes. I like getting dressed up now, so. But anyway, I can remember my grandmas. I was reminiscing about my mom and my grandma. We'd come home from church, and she would go straight to her bedroom to put on her, grubby clothes. And I'm sure one morning or one afternoon, it was morning because we didn't go to church in the afternoon. I'm sorry. Still there was too much coffee. I'm trying to avoid that. Anyway, so I'm walking from the kitchen to the living room at my grandma's house, and I'm walking along, and I just happen to glance over into her bedroom, and I look over, and I had to stop, and I had to back up. My grandma was standing in the middle of her bedroom with a pair of underwear on her head. You have to ask, Grandma, why do you have underwear on your head? Now, they weren't my granddaddy's underwear, because that would have been really strange. They were hers, and she assured me they were clean. But I had to ask her. I was like, Grandma, why do you have underwear on your head? And she said, well, this is to keep me from getting makeup on my blouse or on my dress when I take it off. See? Isn't that clever? I learned something that day. Now, I have never put a pair of underwear on my head on purpose. But that is another story for another crowd. My grandma was a great teacher. My mom was equally a wonderful teacher. Well, I was thinking about my mom and all the things she taught me. I can remember as a, kind of a middle-aged kid, my mom, she worked at a dentist's office. She'd come home in the summertime, and I remember her teaching us about diet and proper nutrition. And she'd come home for lunch, and she would get a Slim Fast and a bag of Lay's potato chips and a block of cream cheese. And that was very well-rounded. As you could tell, it had almost all of the proper things in it. She had strawberry, Slim Fast. It was the fruit. She had vegetables, Lay's potato chips. Those are still potatoes, right? Cream cheese, that's dairy. Bam. There's all the food pyramid right there, almost. She had a less nutritious form of that diet plan. I called it the Slim Slow diet. It was Slim Fast and a Butterfinger. But she was always good about teaching us about nutrition. She also taught us about proper exercise. I don't know if your mom did this to you a lot. Go out and play. Did your mom make you play a lot outside when you were a kid? She didn't like you. I'm just kidding. She didn't. My mom used to make us play outside all the time when we were kids. And I grew up in New Mexico. It's hot outside. I think it's illegal to make your kid play outside now, isn't it? Won't they call the cops? I heard a story about that the other day. I'm pretty sure I have cataracts because my mom made me play outside so young. They didn't put little baby sunglasses on us like they do now. Our parents were hip. Anyway, Mom would make us go play outside, and we get about, I don't know, six steps to the end of the porch, and you hear, she locked the door. We weren't going back inside for a while. And it's hot. It's the desert. It's 9,000 degrees, people. It's hot out there. Anyway, so we'd be out there for about 30 minutes, and I'd go up to the porch. Mom! Mom! It's hot. Can we get a drink? I know you're in there. I know she's in there. Her car's in the driveway. She never would let us in. So my brother and I would drink water out of the hose. Have y'all ever drank water out of the hose?
Yes.
It's awesome, isn't it? Except for like those first 3 swallows, because they're like a little mineral-y. They have like a metallic taste to them. And the water's always hot when it comes out of the hose, the first few gallons. I can remember my brother and I playing lawn darts out when my mom wouldn't let us back in. Remember lawn darts? I don't know if all y'all remember these. They were like 1-foot darts with 6-inch spikes. And the goal was apparently to throw them up in the air and have them land spike down in your lawn. Whoever did that won. Well, I can't say I ever saw one hit the ground because my brother would be like, whoosh, and all him and the neighbor kids would stand around and be like, I would take off the other way. He would throw it, and I'd be like, oh, that's all I need to explain is, here's a kid with the eye patch. Oh, that's Terese. She got hit in the face with a lawn dart. I had enough problems with self-esteem when I was growing up. So anyway, let me figure out where I am. Made us play outside. Darts. Oh, there we go. So eventually my mom would come back to the door, and she'd be like, y'all okay? Did you have fun outside? We're like, I'm thirsty. I got a dart in my eye. I'm okay. I bet your mom didn't lock the door. I think that's abuse. My mom did teach us about God, though. That was probably a very important thing. It was the most important thing, and I'm very thankful that she did teach us about God because my brother and I had a drug problem. We got drugged to church every Sunday morning, every Sunday night, every Wednesday night. I love that joke. Ethan told that joke like 5 years ago, and I was like, I can't wait to tell that joke. That's awesome. Because you start out all serious. People are like, oh, your poor mom. They still do that. My mom taught me about prayer. Things like, you better pray that comes out of the carpet. Did your mom yell? My mom was a yeller. You better pray. I prayed a lot when I was a kid. I did dumb stuff a lot. One time, we didn't have a lot of money in my house growing up. So, if you got a pair of shoes or pantyhose or tights back when you actually wore pantyhose and tights, you had to make it last because that might be the only pair you got that year. So I remember getting a pair of white tights, and I got them at Christmas, and I don't even know what time of year it was when this happened. But we were all getting ready for church one morning. I must have been really bored because I was sitting against the wall, and I was blowing bubble gum against the knee on my tights. I don't know why. It was weird, but it was just something to do, I guess. Zoning out. Anyway, so I'm blowing bubbles against my knee, and eventually the bubble gum sticks to my knee. It's not coming off. I'm like, dear Jesus, please let me get this off before my mom sees it. Please. Well, I tried everything. Ice, that didn't work. Peanut butter, that definitely doesn't work. You might think it might get out of your hair. I don't remember, but I'm sure I had gum in my hair at some point. But anyway, it was stuck to my tights. So anyway, I prayed a lot. I guess Jesus wanted me to learn that day not to do stupid things. So I prayed a lot growing up. My mom made me go to church with those tights on, peanut butter and bubble gum on them. I got to explain that. See, that's why I didn't want to stay around to wait for the lawn dart to land in my eye. My mom taught us about service growing up. We learned very quickly how to clean, how to dust, how to vacuum, how to cook, how to wash the dishes. That was the biggest fight in my house, was who was washing and who was drying. I hated to dry. Well, I hated to wash, too. That's why it was always a fight. We ate a lot of fried food. It was nasty. It was gross. As the South people, we fried everything. We fried biscuits. They're good. I also like to call that child labor, though. My mom got a lot of naps in there. She napped a lot. I wonder about how okay she was. She napped so much. But she could nap, so that was good. But see, all this work that my mom made us do taught me something else, upper management and how upper management works, and about delegation, how delegation works. Y'all don't think that's funny. I kind of thought that was funny. My mom taught us about logic. She would say things like, because I said so. Well, that's logical. Because I said so. Why? Because I said so. I told myself when I was a parent, I was never going to say that. I will be the kind of parent who can rationally explain anything I need to my children. There is an explanation for everything, and I will take the time, and I will sit down with my child, and I will explain it. That lasts for about 4 years, and then you're worn out. You're like, when they start talking and they start asking questions, and why? Can't we do this? Can we do this? No. Why? Because I said so. It's logical, isn't it? Another thing she used to say, I had an older brother. He was 18 months older than me, and he got away with murder pretty much. But she would say, and I don't know if any of y'all experienced this, I had an older brother, because he's a boy. Well, why does Mike get to stay out later? He's a boy. Why does he get to drive to Portales and I can't? He's a boy. You know, I never understood that until I had a son and a daughter, and now I understand it. I'm like, I'm sorry, it's a double standard. You have to get over it, Tatum. That's the way it is. He's a boy. I get it. She taught me about irony. She would say things like, keep crying and I'll give you something to cry about. I don't understand that. Do you want me to keep crying or should I stop crying? You just keep crying and I'll give you something to cry about. I still don't understand what you're saying. My mom was wise, full of wisdom. She would say things like, as you get older, you know, you kind of ask questions that are life lessons, you know, that your parents really just can't answer for you. And my mom would always say, when you get to be my age, you'll understand. Well, my son will be 20 this year, and I can't even believe that. And I'm sure I found myself saying that to him, honey, it's okay. You'll understand when you're my age. And he probably gave me that same dumb look that I gave my mom. Okay. If you say so. Moms teach us about justice, don't they? This is not the kind of justice you're thinking about, though. This is Marie Price justice. This is justice. Well, I hope when you grow up you have a kid just like you. Well, thank you. It worked. If you've met my daughter and my husband, you'll know that they are two peas in a pod. Stubborn, strong-willed, just like their grandma. Yeah. My mom never would have said that about me because I am an angel, sent straight from heaven. She'll tell you that. She will. I'm like, what page am I on? Got there, that one. I'm an angel, that's right. My mom has Alzheimer's. She is 69 years old. She probably will not remember that it is Mother's Day. Not for long. She won't remember that I sent her a card. She won't remember that I've called her tonight to wish for Mother's Day. Now, doggone it, I've done this 100 times. I wasn't crying. But I want you to know that when I do call her, and I try and call her every Sunday, she is in a happy place, and she knows that she's loved. So, I want you to know, if you're a mother out there, you're loved. You're loved. And if you're a woman who isn't the mother of a child out there, you are somebody's mother, because you're mothering them. It happens. And know that you're loved. And that's it. And have a happy Mother's Day.
Perfect. Terese Kane, everyone. just a tribute to moms, and
This has been a presentation of the Lewes Church of Christ. We are located at 15183 Coastal Highway, Milton, Delaware, 3 miles north of Lewes on Highway 1. Our service times are 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. every Sunday morning.